Welcome back to the Creative Process Podcast with myself, Jared Klein. Today, on episode 25, it's going to be just myself. Next week we will have a guest, but yeah, on episode 25 today, I'm going to be talking about something that how do I phrase this? It's something that I think is a little overlooked, and especially with people like myself when I was first starting out, it's something that I kind of shied away from. But then, obviously, as most things happen in life, and as you gain knowledge, and as you get older, and gain more experience in certain things, you gain more knowledge and more comfortability with yourself. So it's kind of natural to feel this type of feeling when it comes to a certain topic. But yeah, I think every designer goes through something like this. It kind of is, in the nature of the profession in a way to say that. But I'm just going to be talking about, being able to ask questions and not being afraid to ask questions and not being afraid to seek advice, basically, along the lines of like a mentor. I know we've talked a little bit about mentors in some episodes in the past. I think Brad Lefeld and I have talked about mentors a handful of times, I think. So we won't be talking about just mentors today. Just basically talking about asking questions and how important asking questions is and can be for your design career, and also sharing some personal experience when it comes to that as well. So just to make the connection a little bit more, a little bit easier for the listeners. But I want to start out by saying, as I always do, I want to start out by saying thank you to the viewers that, hop in consistently week to week basis, or if you're listening to episode 20 through 25 straight through, love that. Thank you. I really appreciate it. I really, really do appreciate it. A little bit of PSA before we start recording. I got this. It is a Canon EOS Rebel T7. I think that's what it's called. Yep. Canon EOS Rebel T7. Got this recently. Cyber Monday. Got it from Best Buy. It wasn't that good of a deal. I may have gotten ripped off based off of the other deals that I was seeing, but I will be using this starting next episode. I was going to be using it this episode. I had to buy this. This is a USB to HDMI adapter, basically for when I get an HDMI mini for this thing, an HDMI to HDMI mini. Obviously, you may be able to see the ports over there. Let me see if I can. Yeah, so I need an HDMI mini to make this compatible, or an HDMI mini to HDMI to make this compatible and be able to set things up and be able to make this work. To be able to make this work to the best of its ability. Sorry, I'm just kind of setting this back here. But yeah, so yeah, that's a little update. Some new equipment. This does shoot photo and video, so I needed it primarily for video, but being able to cross-utilize something that it isn't the highest of quality, like when it compares to, the high-end Canon DSLRs and everything like that. It isn't the highest of quality, but it fits what I needed to do. Upgrading the webcam situation, as I mentioned in episode 23, I think I mentioned that with Ronan right away. Yeah, I needed an upgrade to this. This was long overdue. And on another note, my wife and I have recently bought a house, so I'm going to be mocking up a lot of office mock-ups and getting things kind of the way I want it to be. So in the next month or so, I think our move-in date, like our move-in when we're moving in the huge stuff, is going to be December 17th and 18th, that last weekend before Christmas. So yeah, we actually close tomorrow. At time of recording, it's 11/29, or at date of recording, it's 11/29. But we close on the 30th of November, and the house should officially be ours by the end of the day tomorrow. So yeah, a lot of prep has gone into that. A lot of stressful days, a lot of stressful moments have gone into that. But this is piece number one of the new office setup. and everything like that. And I'm going to be painting, and we're going to be painting, and this is going to be like the first moment that I'm going to have the space to just say, hey, let me just kind of mock things up, see what I want to do for my office, and being able to have the freedom, and also being able to have the people that, thankfully, actually gratefully, I'm super grateful and thankful for family members that want to help Abby and I. Abby is my wife. Abby and I kind of do this and to help us kind of transition into this new phase of our life, which is awesome. We've been looking forward to this for a while now, and it's been long overdue. But yeah, so we're moving into a new house. I'm getting this all set up. This should be set up for the next episode. Maybe I'll stream. I don't know. Maybe I'll stream and see how this kind of works. Frame rate wise, maybe use the stream as like a test. It's for me to get maybe color corrected a little bit. Get some what's it called? Some test runs in. Test things out, make sure it works really nice. But it's stepping up the quality a little bit, which is awesome. So yeah, let's kind of get into what we wanted to talk about. Basically, asking questions. Ever since I started the Creative Process Twitter, which will be down below, that's one plug I'm going to do. Ever since I started the Creative Process Twitter, obviously I started it to promote this podcast, to let the podcast have its own platform, right? So I initially started it for that purpose, but then it started moving into featuring a lot of the audience's work. For the people listening right now, you know that your work, if your work has gotten featured, you know that it has gotten featured. And I think when I do that, it's been going up and up and up since I started doing it. But the amount of eyes that get on that work, let alone if you do post it on their personal page, and then the more times that I can post something that you're proud of, and post something and get it so people can see it, and there's so more people can see it, that's always a plus. And also clapping for people that I think did a great job at something they may or may not have put their heart and soul into. Who knows? Sometimes you make a one-off and it bangs. Other times you make a design and it's one of the best designs you've ever made. But anyways, kind of off tangent there. But since I started doing that, there has been a lot of people kind of coming in the DMs, whether it's my personal or it's the podcast Twitter's DMs, asking for feedback, asking for questions. More so asking questions not only about work, but about getting connections and getting established. Obviously I can't really talk much on that, but I can talk on my experiences getting to where I'm at now, and what I did to get there. But yeah, I've been getting questions about those type of things. The main one that gets me is connecting with other people that, I guess in a sense, to put it in layman's terms, that you think are better than you and that you want to model. Basically, obviously like a mentor type of persona there. For me, the people that I look up to, that I have, in my Twitter DMs, that I just message. Well, the main one is Brad LaFeld. Brad, if you're listening right now, I message you all the time for feedback and everything. He's the main guy that I kind of go to, and then we have group chats of different. I'm in a group chat of MILB creatives. So, as you guys know, I work in the minor league baseball, kind of whole plethora of everything. And I decided that I wanted to set up a group chat with other minor league creatives. One, so that we can connect, but two, also be able to talk a little crap about some promotions and how things went and everything like that. But yeah, I'm in group chats with different connections and different people. I'm in a sports designers group chat as well. So. And that's only on Twitter. I'm also in a handful of Discords. So being able to get comfortable with, gaining those connections, and also being able to ask and trust people's input. Obviously, asking people is one thing. And you're not just going to ask any Tom, Dick, and Harry that you see that are also sports designers. For me, it took a little bit for me to curate who I'm going to ask. Obviously, I looked up to Brad before we even knew each other, and then I had him on the podcast once. He said yes, and then we were connecting back and forth from that, and then now I feel like we have a mutual type of thing. We send work back and forth, and we we're open to giving each other feedback and and stuff like that, and also just chatting shit whenever that happens. But that relationship has allowed me to become more comfortable with asking questions, giving feedback, but in the sense of the topic, being able to ask that question of, hey, how does this look? Or, hey, what should I do different? Or, what do you see that I can improve on in this piece? Or in general questions, what do you think I can improve on as a designer? Especially I've told Brad my goals for what I want to do as a designer, and he's also given feedback for that. So it comes into different quantities, but the initial reach out, me getting over that fear within myself to be able to reach out to the designer, or the multiple designers that I've reached out to pick their brain, to see where I could go with certain things, and just to ask questions about career or design in general. Getting over that fear was a big step. I mean, everyone has it. We've talked about it a little bit on this podcast, but I want to keep reiterating it. I think every designer has the ego. I think the episode let me scroll down. The episode with Ashley McCaffrey. Yes, the episode with Ashley McCaffrey talks a little bit about this. The episode is Know Your Value. It's episode 15 of season 3. It's titled Know Your Value. But basically, Ashley talks about, every designer has an ego because we have some pride in our work, right? We're not going to have an ego. I think that's just a thing. You put some hours into what you want to make, and then you end up pushing it out. You're going to be proud of that. It's going to be tough taking feedback, but it's when you take that feedback, it's how you take it, right? It's how you take that feedback. The main thing is just not taking it personally. But yeah, so getting over the ego, I'm kind of getting off track again, but getting over the ego and getting over the fact that, at least for me, it was getting over the fact that, like, I sometimes I thought, oh, I can't learn anymore. You kind of go on a hot streak. Every designer kind of has this. You go on a hot streak of making, 1 or 2 designs in a row that you're just thinking, hell yeah, this shit, I'm banging. This every single design that I'm putting my mind to is amazing. Sometimes you have that feel, but then you got to tone that down and put yourself down to earth and be able to have that openness to ask those questions, to be able to continue to grow as a designer. The way I think of it is like, right, I'm 24, just turned 24 last week. So it's like, I'm putting my life into perspective where I'm at right now as a designer. I know there are people not only 23 years old, but 15 years old that are way better than me. And I know now that there's always room to improve. Tell me that 5 years ago, 6 years ago, 7 years ago, I probably wouldn't have thought of that because I was in my own little bubble. But that comes with maturing and everything like that. But I guess this episode is for you to kind of help speed up that process of getting comfortable with asking questions to people that you look up to, or people that you think would be able to supply that feedback that you're looking for, and asking people certain questions that you think would be great sources to get the answer that you're looking for as well. I know this is going to be a quick episode, a little bit, 15 minutes, a little nice and quick, Wednesday afternoon type of listen, or Wednesday morning on your way to work type of listen. But yeah, I wanted to kind of talk about this, about how important asking questions is, and always wanting to learn, but asking questions that you want to learn. I know the question, like the thing that you're told in schools, there's no such thing as a dumb question. Obviously, it's common sense. Obviously, like, it's common sense sometimes. There's some questions that, when it comes to that, there's some questions that even if you did a little bit of digging, you could find it by yourself. Like there's questions that you can very easily go and, oh, Google, what's the answer? Sometimes that's the thing. But with design, usually asking someone else about experience or design process and everything, that's not, you can't go on Google and get that answer. Going to someone to supply that answer, or to supply some insight into that, is your best bet. But yeah, take that saying of there's no such thing as a dumb question. Take that saying and throw it out the window. Ask questions. Bombard people with questions. I will look you in the eye and tell you that I am open for questions. Ask me questions. One person that I want to shout out, Luke, you know who you are. He messages me all the time, and he asks me for feedback. He asks me for different types of process things. And I am humbled and grateful that he's putting his trust into me to be able to answer those questions for him. But just being open to even receiving questions and asking questions is a game changer in your career. So yeah, thank you for listening to episode 25. I know we're kind of going a little bit quick here, but it's a nice and easy one for you guys to take in. And it just to kind of open your mind a little bit about the whole question aspect of everything. But yeah, so this has been episode 25. Thank you for listening, and tune in next week for the guest. To be honest, I don't know who we're having on yet. I may have to look back at notes, but excuse me as I spit all over the place. Awesome. But yeah, I don't really know who we're having on yet, but there will be a guest for episode 26. So yeah, you guys take it easy. Thank you for listening to episode 25 of the Creative Process Podcast with myself, Jared Klein. It's always a pleasure talking to you guys and having you guys there to listen. So thank you again. And as always, go tell someone that you love them today. All right, we'll take it easy.